What inspired you to go back to Downton Abbey as the movie?
Well, there was this kind of demand for a movie. There was a sense that people hadn't quite finished with the series when we'd finished the series. I didn't really listen to it first. Gareth was the one who sort of heard the call, heard the drums. But I didn't think there probably would be a movie because all the actors were all over the world doing different jobs and so on. But in the end, after about a year of people asking about the movie and when was it starting and what would it be about and who would be in it, and I did then begin to sort of succumb to the notion that perhaps there would be a film. But I mean, I was really in Gareth's hands for the whole thing. He was the one finding the backing, getting the agreements, finding the actors, pinning them down. Not that they didn't want to do it, it wasn't that. They were all rather enthusiastic, actually. But it was just, could they do it because of all their other commitments?
And could we find a 10-week period that all of them could be there for enough of it that we could get everything shot the way we needed to? Because sometimes in this, somebody was shooting a series in India and flying in and out, and somebody was doing a play on Broadway and somebody else was doing a TV series in Hollywood. And so, just the logistics of putting that together was difficult enough. But everybody wanted to do it, that they made the sacrifices that they needed to.
So how the story came together? Was it quickly or about the premise that the royal family visiting the Downton?
Well, I felt that the film needed a kind of unity that wasn't necessary in the series, which is a different structure. And so all the different plots, and Downton has always had this style of lots of different plots going on, interlocking and so on, but that they should be something binding them all together. There should be a central story making sense of it. And then I was kind of trying to think what it would be when I was reading a book and I came upon the real visit that King George V and Queen Mary made to Yorkshire, made a tour of Yorkshire in 1912. And I decided that in the land of Downton, they would make it in 1927. And that's how we got there.
When you started Downton Abbey, have you imagined this success worldwide phenomenon?
No. No. I thought it was a good project. And there hadn't been a decent period drama for a while on British television because there was a thinking then that market was dead. Of course, as always, nobody knows anything. But I thought it was a good show, and we did have a wonderful cast. We knew that from the start. So I certainly thought it would find an audience and it would do reasonably well. But that is rather different from what actually happened, was that we got caught up in a kind of whirlwind across the world, literally. And that was extraordinary.
Why do you think that this show struck so much chord?
Do you know, when I was a little boy, I used to do cooking, and my mother would give me sort of flour and milk and things to make things with. And normally they were like little grey knobs that came out of the oven as hard as a nut. But one day I made perfect eclairs. I have no idea why, but they were perfect. And when she said, "What did you do with this? How did you make these?" I didn't know. Well, I feel this is a direct forerunner of Downton Abbey. I don't really know the answer. I'm very pleased by it, and I'm thrilled, in fact, to be at the centre of such a phenomenon. And I think for all of us, directors, cast and crew and everyone, it has been fun to be at the heart of one of the famous phenomenon of this particular period. But I don't think any of us quite know why it happened.
When you break down all of the parts, they're all exceptional. They're all first rate. The acting, the writing, the design, the costumes, just the music. Every aspect of it is really first rate, and it has this quality, I think, of the whole being greater than the sum of the parts, that the way all the elements work together. And then I think there are things about it that it's so specifically well done in its own world, but it's a family drama and everybody can relate to that. It's a workplace drama, everyone can relate to that. And so I think in it's so specific on one hand and so detailed in telling the inner workings of this beautiful world, but it's also so relatable in ways that, family and workplace dramas always have been.